What's going on, YouTube? It's your girl Gigi with another video. Let's see. Today we're gonna be talking about, I don't even know what today's date is. It is February 6th now, since it's after midnight. Um, Basically what I wanted to talk about is dealing with 4 children while they're all sick, including yourself. So obviously, it's like I said, it's after midnight, and I'm doing this video. I might as well do a video. I can't go to sleep. I haven't been able to go to sleep lately, anyways. Obviously, I'm doing better. I was sick. Pretty much the beginning of yesterday, which was the 5th of February, and the 4th of February, I was sick. I don't know how it started. All I know is Monday morning, I woke Graceland up to go to school, and she threw up. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, she probably just threw up. I mean, she doesn't normally throw up, but you know how some kids sometimes they ate something the night before, it just wasn't sitting right, and they threw up. That's what I was thinking happened. So, brought her to school, and she was at school for maybe a couple minutes and threw up again. So the school called me and they said, hey, Mrs. Branch, can you come pick Graceland up? So I was like, okay, right? And I was already on my way to work. And then next thing you know, I had to turn around and go get her. And dropped her off back at my father's and then went to work. I was actually fine at work up until, I want to say, 11 o'clock. And then I started feeling really and extremely nauseous. And I don't ever get nauseous. So I was like, what is going on? It was the worst feeling, like that whole nausea, but like I couldn't throw up. But I also had to, what was it? What time did I start? Probably like around 1 o'clock is when I actually started running to the bathroom and throwing up. So I threw up. And I threw up a couple more times after that when I was at work. So I stayed. They kept on telling me to leave, but I didn't. I just stayed. I want the money. So I stuck it out up until 5 o'clock. And then I clocked out and I went home. Usually I got errands to run or whatever. There was no errands to run today. Not that day. So I was out. And I went home. And I came home to see my 2 middle children throwing up. So Luke and Glow were throwing up. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? My dad got buckets everywhere because the kids are throwing up everywhere. I'm like, what in the world? I thought it was just me and Graceland. Now it's all. So I'm guessing it was like some kind of like stomach flu, stomach bug, or something that was going on. I don't even know how it started. I want to say I brought it home from work. I do work at a hospital. I'm not sure if I did, though, because the throwing up with all the kids, it started on Tuesday, I want to say. Tuesday of last week. Luke had an issue with the spaghetti that he ate. So I'm thinking it was an allergy. And I think it really was an allergy. So I think his throw up was actually coincidental. But from Tuesday all the way up until Saturday is when Francis threw up. Francis threw up, and Francis never throws up. The baby. He never throws up. He threw up. And then after that, what happened after he threw up? Okay, I changed him. I put him to bed. And then he was in the bed with me and Graceland. So when I woke up Sunday morning, that little boy was in my face, like literally in my face, smiling at me. And he woke up and woke me up. And then I'm like, what in the world, little boy? And I don't have my glasses on. I don't got my contacts. So I'm looking at him and his shirt looks stained. And I just changed him the night before. I changed his outfit. I changed his diaper and everything because he threw up. So I'm like, why is there a stain? Right? And then I look closer and I get closer to him. And I'm like, he had diarrhea, and it went to the front and the back. And for those mothers and fathers that know about that, that's pretty gross, and that's extremely a lot. So I changed him, wiped him down and everything. He had diarrhea for the rest of that day from what my dad told me. I had to go to work that day. And but he hasn't thrown up since. Okay, so I didn't think nothing of it. And then here comes Sunday. Well, that was Sunday morning. All Sunday I was at work. I was fine. Everybody was fine. Nothing was going on. And then, like I said, Monday morning, which I already told you my story about Monday morning. So now it's Wednesday late. Well, not really late. It's like early Wednesday because it's after midnight. So all of Tuesday I was off, and like the symptoms I was getting, like not just me, Graceland too, like diarrhea, throwing up. It's like they were throwing up every hour, the kids. Every hour, because that's how I was. It was either every hour or every other hour when I was at work where I was throwing up. And then, like I said, there was the diarrhea with Graceland. She had it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I had it too, you know. So, and I'm thinking I lost a little bit of weight from it. But, which is not a good way to lose weight, but I lost some weight. But it's really hard dealing with it, especially when you're a single mother. It was very frustrating. Yesterday was frustrating. Coming home to all these sick children and being sick yourself was very frustrating. I couldn't do anything but help and clean up and make sure they were straight. So it was a lot of changing clothes, a lot of switching out like bed sheets, washing bed sheets, washing their clothes, washing my clothes, making sure all of them are okay, make sure they're eating, make sure they're drinking, especially because if you're throwing up, you're dehydrated. So constantly making sure that they're drinking their Gatorade or their Pedialyte, you know, so they could gain some electrolytes. But it's very hard because I was sick as well, because not only did I have all those symptoms, my body was aching really bad. So, like, it felt like I had a flu, but nobody had a fever. It was just, like, body aches and throwing up and the diarrhea. So, dealing with all these kids and trying to keep myself together is very hard. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, there are points throughout this day where I was actually crying because it's taking on 4 kids by yourself is very hard, especially if you don't have your ex-husband or your partner or whoever to help you. Very hard. My father was here, but my father got sick from the kids, so he was over here throwing up too, and he pretty much isolated himself. Francis was the only one that wasn't throwing up yesterday. So I was trying to maintain. I said all the kids were sick. See, I included Francis as sick because of when he threw up on Saturday, but I'm not even sure if that had anything to do with anything. It might have, because Francis doesn't usually throw up or have diarrhea like that. He's always been such a good baby. So that might have been the start of it, and then trickled down to, or did like a domino effect from, because me and Graceland were actually laying in the bed with him. So I'm thinking that's probably, that's what started it. But we're never going to get to, find out how and where it all started. It just happens. You can't really prevent it. It's very hard. You could be a germaphobe and still get sick. I know it. But anyways, it was very hard to juggle all those kids and try to keep them away from Francis, because a lot of, like, the kids like to play with Francis. They like to touch his head and be in his face, and they like to feed him. So it was a lot of no, stop, don't feed him, don't touch him, don't, like, a lot of yelling. Not really yelling, just speaking loudly. It was hard because I really didn't want out of all of them, Francis is the one I don't want to get sick because he's a baby. So it'll be more hard on him and more hard on me, and with babies, they're not, especially him, because he's only a year, so he doesn't speak too much. I mean, he speaks words, but he doesn't speak full sentences. So if anything was wrong with him, I don't know how he feels. I'm not going to know if he doesn't feel good, if he's okay. I wouldn't know because he's not vocal yet. My other children are very vocal, so they will tell you all day, oh, mommy, my head hurts, mommy, my stomach hurts, mommy. So, I mean, I could get the feedback from them and I could figure out what to do with them. But when it comes to babies, I know for all you mothers that have children, it is frustrating because you don't know what's wrong and you feel like you don't know what to do. So I feel like that all the time, every day, especially being by myself. When the kids were sick before and I did have my husband with me, it was a lot easier. I will say that because he's very, he tends to the kids very much when they're sick. He, I mean, he still is when he is around them, but especially when they're sick, he does cater to them and make sure everything's good, make sure everything's sanitized. And that's one thing I had to do. I had to make sure everything was sanitized in the house, how to get sanitation wipes and Lysol spray and all that. And it was just hard because I couldn't do it yesterday. I felt really crappy yesterday when I got home from work. So I asked my dad if he could do it. So my dad got a couple things. He got some crackers, some Lysol. What else did he get? Crackers, Lysol. I asked him. Oh yeah, I asked him to bring Sprite to sell their stomach. My kids don't like ginger ale, and neither do I. I don't like ginger ale. But my dad kept on saying, oh, they could drink Coke. They could drink Coke. And you know what? Growing up, I'm not gonna lie to you. My mother, every time my stomach was feeling crazy or I was throwing up, my mom would always give me crackers and Pepsi. So, and that actually did settle my stomach. But nowadays, everyone's saying dark soda is bad. So, and they said stick with the ginger ale. I hated ginger ale, and I still do. But the Pepsi actually worked. I didn't have a problem with it. I didn't throw up more. Some people say they throw up more. I didn't. But even though I grew up on that, I got my dad to get the Sprite since it's clear, just to be on the safe side. So I got him to get a Sprite so it could settle their stomach. It actually worked because after they had the Sprite, none of them threw up. So that whole thing actually was 24 hours, the whole sickness thing. I did wake up Tuesday morning still feeling like crap, like complete crap. My body was so sore, so I felt like I had the flu. So I was like, oh my God, please don't let me have the flu. Graceland said her back was hurting, so I'm pretty sure her body was sore as well. Luke was fine, Glow was fine. Even during the night, they didn't throw up. I want to say I was actually in bed by like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, maybe even before that, maybe even 7, I was in bed. I mean, I would get up still and, clean up and wash this and wash that because the kids were sick and throwing up everywhere. Like, they were literally throwing up everywhere. And Glow, even though you told her to throw up in a bucket, she would not throw it up in the bucket. She would just throw up where the heck she was at. If the table's there, blah, she'd throw up in the blah. She didn't care. She'll throw up in her hand, blah, and then continuously try to touch you. Like, no. So, I mean, I had to deal with that too. So, I had to get them to wash their hands so many times. And, getting kids to wash their hands and do stuff is it's ridiculously hard, especially Glow. She's very hard-headed. So, it's hard to juggle all those kids and to keep them or try as hard as I can to keep them away from the baby so they won't get him sick as well. I had to keep him in his playpen because if I didn't, because I know even though I sanitized everything every time they threw up, there's probably some kind of germs somewhere lingering around. So I didn't want Francis walking around. So he was in his playpen most of the day, kind of isolated in his own little area. But I mean, that's all I can do because I couldn't keep him upstairs. My dad was sick also, so my dad was isolated in a room upstairs. So I was just like, crap. And I had to deal with the other kids. So I couldn't just put Francis upstairs and come downstairs with all the other kids. Like, that wouldn't make any sense. He had to be around us. So I just made sure that they stayed away from him. But like I said, like Tuesday, none of them were throwing up. But I was still feeding them the little brat diet because of the diarrhea. So I had to give them some bananas, some rice, apples, and toast. And they had some, I gave them, well, Chris came by, their father came by and brought some stuff. What did he bring? He brought some cereal, some chicken, grilled chicken, um, some vitamin water, like soup, chicken soup, bananas, bread. He brought over some things, you know. Oh, he brought Lysol and some more Lysol and disinfectant wipes, which all I very need so much, you know. So I mean that was very helpful. So because I informed him that the kids were sick and I was sick, and you know he checked up on us, which is great. But still, just doing it by yourself is very hard. He did not want to be around us. He said, I can't get sick. I got to be at work. And I get it. You know, I got to be at work, but somebody's got to stay home with the kids. If you're not, I guess I have to, you know. So it was just a really hard day for me. And I mean, to all the mothers out there that, you know, that start flipping out and don't know what to do, I mean, you're not the only one. Like, every time one kid threw up, I was just like, oh my God, very frustrating. Like, I just wanted to lay down and curl up and do nothing. And every time I did lay down and curl up, another one was throwing up. So, of course, I would have to get up and take care of that. So, my body was aching so bad. But at the end of the day, everybody's good now. There was no fevers at all with all of us. So, hopefully, I'm keeping Graceland from school tomorrow just in case. Even though nothing happened today, everybody was fine. They were all eating normally. They were all hungry, especially because they haven't ate. I fed them a whole bunch of fluids because they threw up so much the day before. But I mean, that's all you can do. It's very frustrating. Um, I just decided to share this with y'all because I know there's some others out there that are like freaking out, don't know what to do, don't know what to think. Man, I'm there with you. I promise I'm there with you. Especially that I don't have anybody else to help me. My husband's of course no longer with me. We're not completely divorced yet, so I still claim him as mine. But it's very hard when you don't have another person around, and I get it. So for those that are single mothers and are dealing with multiples and multiple sick children and you being sick as well, you know, all hats off to you because I do it all the time and I know where the frustration is and I know how hard it is and how to maintain and clean, and even though you just want to go to sleep. So I just want to share that little bit with y'all. You're not the only one. If you guys have any other questions for me, you know, let me know. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll be giving you guys more stuff. Since I'm always like up at night, so we might just start doing late night sessions. And just keep posting videos up. But like I said, if you guys have any questions for me, comment below. If you have any suggestions for me, that too, I would love to read that. Yeah, subscribe to my channel, please. And then my joint channel as well, Black and Rice. You guys got to check us out. We're pretty hilarious together. And we talk about good topics on there. So, my birthday is coming up. That's one thing. Saturday, February 9th. It's my birthday. What am I going to do? Definitely vlogging. So stay tuned for that. I have Friday off, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I have the whole weekend off. 3-day weekend for my birthday. I usually don't do stuff like that, like call off on my birthday and stuff like that, but I am this year. So stay tuned for that. But Good night, you guys. Love you. Subscribe. Good night.